Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah and this is Jar of Fireflies. Here you'll find content all about my life as an Orthodox Jewish homeschooling mother of three. And today we're going to talk about how you can have a Shabbat-like day of rest. So I have a lot of friends who aren't Jewish, and I know there's a lot of people who aren't Jewish who watch my channel, and they're all really intrigued by this whole concept of Shabbat. And I get asked all the time, how can I have a more Shabbat-like day of rest the way that you do? And so while it's really likely that you probably don't want to observe Shabbat exactly the way that I do, you are looking for a Shabbat-like day of rest in your life. And there are so many things that you can incorporate into your life to create your own day of rest. Okay, the first thing that you're going to want to do is schedule your day of rest. For me, Shabbat starts 18 minutes before sundown every Friday night and ends 45 minutes after sundown on Saturday night. You may choose to have your day of rest be a different day of the week. Maybe your work schedule has it where you have Tuesdays off, so that's a good day of rest for you, or because of sports activities, Sunday works better for you, or whatever it is. You pick your day of rest and you schedule it into your week. You also may choose to have your day of rest start in the morning and end at night, as opposed to starting the evening before and ending the next evening, the way that I do. But the important thing here is to schedule it. Also, you need to decide how often you would like to have your day of rest. For me, it's every single week. We have Shabbat every single week. It is just, I love it. It's so great. I highly recommend that you choose one day each week for your day of rest and do it every single week. Now, you could do it once a month or every other week or whatever schedule works out for you, but I think you'll find it a lot harder to incorporate into your life if it's not a regularly scheduled weekly event. Okay, so you've picked your day, you've picked your times, now what? I recommend that you start slow. When I first started observing Shabbat, I started extremely slow. First, it was I didn't check my email on Shabbat. And then, I realized that was kind of fun and it kind of made my day a little nicer not to worry about checking my email. After that, I started a few more things that I sort of took out. And, as I was taking out, things get added in, but we'll get to that. But the point is that I started off very slow. Literally the one thing, not checking my email. If I had tried to take on every Shabbat rule that there is all at once, I would have become completely overwhelmed, and I really doubt that I would have stuck with it. So it literally took me years of working slowly towards Shabbat observance before I was fully observing a Jewish Shabbat. I don't think you need to wait years and years till you totally have your day of rest, but I do think, again, that you should start slow and just kind of ease into the concept a little bit. It'll make the process more enjoyable and you'll be more likely to stick to it. Okay, so once you've gotten your day chosen, I recommend that you just cut one or two things out of that particular day. And then every week after, choose one or two more things, depending on how that pace is feeling for you, to continue cutting out and working towards the day of rest of your dreams. Okay, so what sorts of things should you be cutting out of your life to get towards a day of rest? Got a few suggestions. Okay, a few suggestions that I have are laundry, shopping, appointments, major house cleaning like mopping the floors, watching TV, and your cell phone. Let's look at each of these. Okay, so laundry. For me and my Shabbat observance as a Torah observant Jew, I cannot do laundry on Shabbat. I cannot launder my clothes. So I make sure that all of my laundry is done before Shabbat. I always do like this one final load Friday morning, even if it's not quite a full load, just to make sure that it's all complete and folded and put away so it is out of my mind. I don't have this pile of laundry weighing on my shoulders going into my day of rest that is bugging me, and I'm not tempted to try to do laundry on Shabbat, folding it or putting it away, things like that. It's done. And I know that my family will all have whatever it is that they choose to wear on Shabbat will be clean and ready because, hey, all the laundry's done. So having that laundry done, that's such a major chore. And when the laundry's done, it feels so good, right? So when that's done and out of the way, you can really kind of enjoy your day a lot more. Okay, let's talk about shopping. Shopping can be relaxing, right? So why wouldn't we shop on Shabbat? Okay, so as a Torah observant Jew, I am not allowed to shop on Shabbat. We don't spend money. Pure and simple. Okay, so let's dive into shopping a little bit more. Not just even the spending money part, but let's talk about like getting in your car and dealing with traffic and crowds and these days social distancing and masks and all sorts of things. Like that ends up not being quite as enjoyable as it maybe could be if you're thinking about a day of rest. Do you really want to go deal with crowds at the mall or even online shopping where you get lost in your computer and scrolling and finding websites? It ends up not being quite as enjoyable as you may think it is. So I recommend to cut out all shopping on your day of rest. I know for me as a Torah observant Jew, it's so nice to not have to think about any of those things on Shabbat. And for me, as a Torah observant Jew, again, I prepare for my day of rest. I prepare for Shabbat by making sure that I have all the groceries and things that I need. We're in the habit in our house of going grocery shopping on Thursday nights, and that is where we buy all the food that we want for Shabbat. So that has us prepared and ready, so we're not worried about shopping on Shabbat. We have all the groceries and everything that we need, and anything else honestly can probably wait. The point is, don't spend money on Shabbat. It takes out a lot of stress and makes your day more restful. Okay, appointments. This seems kind of obvious, right? Like don't schedule an appointment on your day of rest, but hey, sometimes we need to get reminded. And so it's not just things like scheduling a doctor's appointment or something like that, but make sure that nobody's coming to your house like the pest control guy or something like that. I try to even schedule deliveries to not arrive on Shabbat. Now that doesn't always work out because of delays in the mail and things like that and not knowing exactly when something's going to get shipped. But if I know, for example, on Amazon, if I'm ordering something that will be here in 2 days or 1 day, I'll push that off until Monday so that it doesn't arrive on Shabbat. I just don't even want to deal with it on my day of rest. As a Shabbat observant Jew, I don't even open my mail on Shabbat. So with your day of rest, you want to be able to leisurely read a book and get lost in it, or go for a walk, or have a leisurely breakfast, anything like that without having to worry about, okay, but at 10 o'clock I've got to be at this place, or, this afternoon, this is happening. Like you just don't want to worry about those things. So don't schedule appointments and try to avoid having things happen, I guess, on your day of rest. Okay, major house cleaning. House cleaning is another thing that I work on Fridays, getting ready for Shabbat. If you've seen any of my Shabbat prep videos, I'm always cleaning my house going into Shabbat. And there is a reason for this. Okay, so first of all, as a Torah observant Jew, I know I'm saying that word like a lot in this video, so I'm sorry it's a little repetitive, but as a Torah observant Jew, there's a lot of cleaning I cannot do on Shabbat. I cannot run my dishwasher, I cannot mop my floors, I cannot run the vacuum. So I make sure this is all done before Shabbat. I clean the bathrooms, I vacuum and mop the floors, I run the dishwasher, I do all these things on Friday right before Shabbat. So that for the most part, if you've mopped your floor one day, you probably don't have to do it the next day. If I've run my dishwasher and emptied it before Shabbat starts, then I probably am fine to not worry about, having to run it again for another day. And it's nice to have a day off of the house cleaning. I also give the house a little refresh. I do a lot of tidying up. I make sure that the books and toys and pillows are straightened in the living room. I make sure the kids clean their room, which I need to do to vacuum anyways. But I get all of that stuff done on Friday so that going into Shabbat, again, the house is so clean. That Friday night clean of my house going into Shabbat is just such a beautiful thing. And it usually lasts until Saturday morning when I wake up to, again, a really clean house. And that's just a nice feeling that really helps put me in the perfect mood for my day of rest. Okay, now there are 5 people living in my house, so there do get to be messes on Shabbat. So how do I deal with those? All right, so like I said, I told you kind of the restrictions that I have about not being able to vacuum and mop and things like that. However, I can sweep my floors. So I'll sweep around under the table or in the kitchen if it needs it, and I'll wipe down the counters with a baby wipe just to kind of, if there's like crumbs and little spills in the kitchen, which is definitely usual and normal for me. And I'll put dishes that we've used in the dishwasher, and then I will hand wash any dishes that we still need for later meals over Shabbat. Now I have to tell you, it's really nice that on Shabbat, I'm not hearing this whole like hum of the dishwasher and the laundry machine and the vacuum, like all that noise, all that kind of house cleaning noise. It's just not happening. The house is peaceful. It's very quiet. And about washing the dishes, I can just focus on the sound of the water and, the clink of the plates as I put them in the drying rack, and just kind of focus on those little things. And it's very relaxing. And I just kind of focus in the joy of all of that and not in the fact that it is technically housework. It just has a different mood on Shabbat. But yeah, don't do your major house cleaning on your day of rest is my recommendation based on my experiences with Shabbat observance. So going into your day of rest with a clean house and limiting what you do on your day of rest. Lots of days of rest. Okay, moving on. All right, watching TV. This one may be controversial. Okay, but we do need a technology break. So many studies have been done about taking a 24-hour break from technology once a week, which just happens to be what I do each week as a Shabbat observant Jew. Some of the benefits include better relationships with your family and friends, that you reduce stress, that you become more mindful, that you have increased self-worth and increased focus, and so many more. Specifically for TV, it's usually kind of a time waste. We watch TV to escape from our lives. I know that's why I watch TV before I go to bed. It kind of helps to quiet my mind and just kind of take me away from everything for a little bit. But our day of rest is not for escaping our lives, it is for living our lives. TV can give you feelings of inadequacy, it can degrade your self-control, it can give you unrealistic expectations, and it can affect your belief systems. And I say all of this as someone who watches TV. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't watch TV. I'm just saying that having that one day off a week from watching TV can have some major benefits and can really contribute to your day of rest. I know it's really nice for my Shabbat. Okay, so along those lines, moving on, your phone. Oh yes, turn your phone off. Yes, I put my phone down for 24 hours. Well, I guess really it's closer to 25 hours because of when I start Shabbat and when I end it. But the point is, I put it down, I don't look at it, I don't answer my phone if someone calls, I'm not checking my messages, I'm not getting on social media, I'm not getting on the internet. So again, we have all those benefits of the technology break. Putting down my phone for a day gets me away from those perfect Pinterest and Instagram posts that may make me feel like parts of my life are inadequate. It gets me away from people's opinions and comments on Facebook that may annoy me or infuriate me. It just in general gets me away from all of that social media drama, which I don't know if you've been on social media lately, but there is a lot of drama. Putting my phone down gets me away from reading the news. I'm always like popping on the news first when I pick up my phone, and probably not the best habit, but like these days especially, the news is just, it's heavy. So having a day without news is nice. And yes, sometimes big things happen. In general, most of the time nothing major is happening, so most of the time it's just like this quiet little easy get away from the news, get away from the social media, and it's so beautiful, which is why I'm recommending that to you to also incorporate that into your day of rest. So when you're putting your phone down also, you're getting away from that kind of social media existence that I feel like so many of us live in these days. You know, I'm like, hello, YouTuber here. But where it's not like, you know, if something fun is happening, you're not like, oh, well, I can post on Facebook about this and I could get some likes, or, you know, oh, this would make a great Instagram picture. I better go grab my camera. You know, just cut all that out and focus on just living your life and not trying to record it for someone else. Live your life for you. Live your life for your family. Live your life for you. So when I find myself putting my phone down for that time during Shabbat, I find myself where I stop worrying about what other people think and I start focusing only on what I need and what I want. It's kind of okay to be a little selfish like that sometimes. It gets you a little more back in tune with yourself. So put the phone down. This is when you'll probably have to work up to, and you could do it by also putting your phone down. Maybe you don't pick it up until noon. You know, when I first was cutting out television on Shabbat, I cut it out very slowly like that, where it was like, okay, well, I won't watch TV until 2 o'clock now, you know, building up to my personal Shabbat observance. Okay, so there's a really loud machine outside. Now, we're still working on our house remodel. I think I'm gonna need to move. Okay, I've moved. My apologies on the poor lighting in this room, but hey, this is what we've got in here. We haven't finished installing lights. Okay, so we're taking all these things out of our day during our day of rest. So what are we adding back in? So this is gonna depend on your interests. I really enjoy reading books on Shabbat. My husband really enjoys the extra time that he has in prayer and Torah study. My kids love the extra time that they have to play with us. My dog loves the extra walks we do on Shabbat, the extra long family walks we take. We all enjoy the delicious food and the lack of distractions from work and everything else that happens all week long. So some things that you might add into your day of rest, again, I feel like this should depend on your interests, could be reading more books, having a friend over for some quality conversations, perhaps a shared meal, working on a jigsaw puzzle, going for a walk around your neighborhood, enjoying the outdoors by sitting in your backyard or patio, or switch it up, sit in your front yard, observe the neighborhood. I have met so many of my neighbors just by sitting in my front yard on a chair. You could also play board games or card games. There's also spending time in prayer or studying scripture. You could also take a nap, meditate, or just be. You could spend one-on-one time with your spouse or your children. And of course, enjoy family together time with whoever lives in your house or the family that you have chosen. Okay, so now let's talk about food. As a Torah observant Jew, I cannot cook on Shabbat. I also cannot start a fire, so that includes turning on my oven or my stove. So we prepare all of our food before Shabbat and either heat it up or we have it on a crock pot on low, cooking all of Shabbat. Now, we've been at this for a while, and of course I belong to a people with a, 5,000-6,000 year tradition of Shabbat observance. So we kind of have some recipes and routines down where it's pretty easy for us with this whole not cooking on Shabbat thing. For you, it may take a little bit more getting used to if it's not something that you're accustomed to. And you may choose to cook on your day of rest. So it may look a little bit different for you in general. So if you are going to cook, I suggest that you cook very simple meals or have some freezer meals prepared that you just have to warm up or just throw in the crock pot, things like that. If you're interested in some of the recipes that I do, I'll link below to some of my Shabbat prep videos that involve cooking. So that will be in the description box and you can check that out at your convenience. I do have to say, it's really nice not to have to think about food at all over Shabbat. Like, it's done. We've already cooked it. It's ready to go. It's so simple. And I just don't have to think about doing anything except pulling it out of the fridge and putting it on the hot plate. So ways that I try to make the food a little bit fancier is we might use a nicer cut of meat or meat in general. We always have meat at our meals on Shabbat, whereas we don't necessarily have meat every day during the week. I'll also try to add extra side dishes. We do a lot of the little salads on the table. We definitely don't do those during the week. And I'll generally try to make some sort of a dessert. Sometimes that's a fail, but there's always at least something sweet on the table, even if I'm just grabbing the emergency package of cookies out of the pantry. And I also try to do something special for breakfast on Saturday morning. So for the kids, this is usually cereal. They love cereal. For me, I try to make some muffins or scones or something that I can pull out that I've made either the day before or that I can pull out of the freezer. And that's something that I like to have for myself. So just trying to make breakfast also a little bit more special. So to wrap up, the food topic here is partly about planning ahead so that your meals are easier to prepare or serve, and also that your food is a little bit more special and different. Again, this all adds to looking forward to your day of rest. Okay, so along the lines of food, I always, without exception, use a tablecloth on Shabbat. I will also almost always use cloth napkins. I also have really nice china that we use just for Shabbat and other holidays. It's just what I like to do. It makes the day more special, a little bit more fancy. Also, whenever I'm serving food, like let's say I bought some store-bought hummus and I'm gonna put that on our table with our salads, I'm gonna transfer that out of that little container to another container that is ceramic or glass. I don't want to put those to-go containers on my table. I want the table to look nicer. So all these things make my day just a little bit more special, and they set Shabbat apart from the rest of the week. So I am recommending that you do things to set your day of rest apart from the rest of the week. As a Torah observant Jew, we want to set our Shabbat apart from the rest of the week because we have Shabbat and then we have the rest of the week, which is like the mundane, all the going to work and doing laundry and all of those things. And then we have Shabbat, our day of rest. So we want it to be different and special. Okay, so a few final thoughts. It can take time to incorporate a day of rest into your life. And it may be a little bit hard at times, especially breaking a technology addiction. But I am confident that once you find a good rhythm, you will really benefit from having a day of rest in your life. And that it's going to be the day that you look forward to the most. So take your day of rest. You deserve it. You need it. And I'm so confident that you will be better for it. So let me know in the comments if you observe Shabbat or if you have your own version of a day of rest and what you enjoy most about it. If you don't have a day of rest at this point in your life, let me know if you're interested in incorporating that into your life and what things you might be looking forward to the most about it. Please hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. And please subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to see you here again. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next upload.